Everyone, let me get this at a suitable angle, right? Oh, there we go. Hello, good morning everyone. We are doing a free bass workshop this morning. It's an opportunity for everyone to ask me whatever they want to know about bass. So, the first thing we're going to talk about when it comes to these, and I'll probably wait a minute before I go fully in depth with it, but the first thing that gets asked usually during these things, because it's the start, I haven't played bass today, it's only 9 a.m. But, you know, we're going to wait 10 minutes or so before we're fully into it. But the main thing that gets asked of me during these is warm-ups. And warm-ups are obviously a crucial part of playing. Warm-ups are a crucial part of music. Warm-ups are a crucial part of everything. Doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're a runner, if you're a climber, if you're whatever, people use warm-ups for various reasons. And this is probably counterintuitive, but I'm bigger on stretches than warm-ups. I believe that if you're on the road as a musician, right, and you're in the environment in which you have to set up and just play, you don't have time for a warm-up, you should be able to just play. Right, you need to, like, I haven't warmed up. Now I can do like the fast legato runs. You need to be able to get to that point, and you need to be able to do what you do without spending much time warming up. And warm-ups aren't a bad thing, and I don't want people to get that confused and don't think I don't do warm-ups, because it depends on the scenario. If I know that I'm going to play a slap bass solo during the set, I might sit there and doodle around with a few little burst options like that, but I won't overly focus because I've practiced to the point where I don't actually need to do too many warm-ups. There are some things on cold days that's a bit different. I find that the weather can be a massive impact on that. You can always do the 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I find the 1, 2, 3, 4 is quite good in itself. And that's one of the things we need to keep in mind, that when we do warm-ups, it's a massive benefit for when you're new. But across time, when you start doing gigs and you're starting to go everywhere, sometimes you don't have time. So you need to be able to just pick up the instrument and play. Alright, so a few things I'm big on is stretches. So like that, you can hear, don't know if you can hear that, but my hand's cracking. There we go. And the reason it's cracking is because I'm pretty tight in the hands at all times. And I don't really do warm-ups. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but you should do it. But some key warm-ups is always like 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. All chromatic. Everyone knows that one. But another one is just the major scale. Now I find that legato warm-ups work better for me. If I'm going to be doing a lot of fast plucking during the set, I'll start of Dean Town. And I'll use the start of Dean Town to be able to play everything. And I find that helps a lot. So, we got 5 minutes till we actually start, but it's alright. So, when it comes to warm-ups, I like to look at it at what I'm doing for the day. I'm not going to sit there and just start. Well, I probably technically could. It wouldn't matter. Like, I haven't sweep picked today. I would probably do that live and get away with it. But I would also never do sweep picking live. Kind of goes hands in hand. So, how would I approach, though, a warm-up? Slow it right down. Turn it down too, right? So, I have more trouble with my plucking hand than my fretting hand, you know? It's fine. I'd probably warm up with these. like 16th notes. And the other thing is you don't want your ear to get bored. Your ear getting bored is such a major thing with practice. That's why people tend to not like it. And that's the other thing too. You can practice your scales. Choose random notes from a scale. So I'm in E minor, right? And you'll get different patterns. But you're also practicing a scale at the same time, which is really beneficial. Say, you can even practice in the box. So if you've got A pentatonic, right? Just start playing random notes. Now, the cool thing about that is when we're writing or when we're doing anything like improvisation, we tend to fall into the trap and the loop of repetitive hand motions. And you can see something that I do, because it's all muscle memory, right? Something I do a lot, and you will see it if you watch me improvise, is this. Which is this minor shape, right? And it comes down to the fifth. Where do you brace your plucking hand? I said, yeah, okay. So, Winter Deep Sleep, hello mate, how you going? So, I don't actually brace my plucking hand. It depends on the day. I find I get less fatigue if I'm down here a bit. Hello, Malcolm. But I don't brace it anywhere. What I do is I've got my bass guitar. Let's move this seat up a bit. There we go. So, what I do is people will brace it on the pickups, and I'm strongly against that. Some people can get away with it and have good muting. Most people cannot. However, you can hold it there, but the problem with if you hold it and anchor there and brace yourself, so we call it anchoring typically, what will happen is you've left out a lot of muting that you could get. So what I do, if I go, right, I can still play like that, it's fine. But if I go like this and simply rest my thumb over it, right, what I'm doing with my thumb there for the technique, and you see it there, is it will mute these strings. So if I accidentally go like this, they're already muted. They're not going to ring out, dude, while I'm playing. So in a live scenario, that's beneficial. But what I'll do, if I'm on, see if I can get a good angle here. You can see I move it up. So I actually have like a floating thumb technique kind of thing, as opposed to an anchor point. Some people anchor on the string above where they're playing, but I find the less movement in terms of, because you got to move, right? You got to move. I assume a bit of your firearm on the body is an anchor. Yeah, if I had to say there's an anchor, hang on, if I'm playing live, that's a great question. It depends. So if I'm standing up, I imagine it would be more floating. But sometimes if I'm just, you can anchor it there, and that's loose, right? But sometimes I'll change positions when I go to thumb. So like anything to do with my thumb. But even then, like this, I will mute with my palm there, like. So that can be used as an anchor for your forearm. Some people find that it's easier like that. It just depends. One of the things that doesn't get talked about like by teachers enough is everybody is different with how their body works. So we're all similar, right? Like, all right. The best way to explain it, like I've taught that many people, it's crazy. But if you've got these two, right, you can sit there and be like, well, you have a black bass and you have a black pick. Everyone has arms, most people. But they're not actually the same color of black, otherwise you wouldn't be able to, you know what I mean? So the way I look at it is you need to find what works for you and gets the best results. So if I have a student that isn't able to play without anchoring, and that's what works for them. I just let them anchor. It doesn't work for me, and I say the best results are the floating method, but that doesn't actually mean that it is always the best method for the individual. And when we're teaching, so many people will talk about, say, for instance, posture. When we start talking about posture and how we position ourselves and whatever else, the thing we look at there, and this is mind-blowing in itself, the thing we look at there is people will be like, oh, they have terrible posture. But you don't know if that person's broken their back, and you don't know if that person's broken their collarbone. I broke my collarbone here on the plucking hand side, right? So, if I was to have a low-hanging base, I can't reach it. I'm a short guy. Maybe it would be beneficial to some to have a low-hanging base, stuff like that. So, Winter Deep Sleep, I'm a massive, massive, massive encourager of the individual getting the best results however they see fit and however they need to. You know, anything that takes away or denies them the ability to get the best results is quite hindering and not a good thing at all. I'm a grade 1 bassist. My fingers look weird, but it's the only way to play for me using my pinky. I was playing Under the Bridge. I'm going to play guitar, and I keep using my ring on the low string, and I want to use an anchor. Right? But with bass, I feel like I want to steer away from using a pick at all. Hello, Darkside. I recommend to every single bass player to learn with a pick and without a pick. But if I had to actually choose one, I would probably, at this point, actually, I wouldn't even recommend one. There's no strict advantage apart from tone, really. It's all about context. I'm a grade 1 bassist. My fingers look weird, but the only way to play. Okay, so when we talk about, like, fingers looking weird, so this comes back to posture. So you'll see me play, like, I'll sometimes play like that, and you can see my thumbs hanging over a bit. It doesn't hang on there, and I'm not gripping it hard, but my finger angle is technically, from like a few teachers, they're like, oh, well, Jackie, you're not having this properly. It's like, yeah, but I'm playing better than you. So what are we talking about? So, and that's not an ego thing. It's just like, if I'm a faster player than you, why would it be a deterrent that I'm not using your method? So what I encourage is, some students will be at this angle, but they haven't tried this. Now, I can do both, but you'll see me change positions. Like, I'll do that sometimes, but I'll also move it. And you get players like Paul Gilbert, Steve Vai does it sometimes. This is in the guitar realm. And they will have this angle rather than this. For me, that creates more tension on the higher up strings. But if I'm up here, you mentioned our nose most longer than mine. Is it something you develop, or you guys just blessed? Winter Deep Sleep. So one of the things you're probably doing, and listen to me, if you listen to this advice, I promise you it'll make your music journey easier. All right. So up the top of this circle here, of this red liquid, up the top of this circle, here is insanely smart, right? And you're overthinking and you're thinking and blah, blah, blah. If you come down here, you've got insanely silly, right? And I'm a silly man. I'm not a bright guy at all. But you want to be down here when it comes to music. So what does that mean in context of what you said? When you mention fingers, I noticed most of my thumbs look slightly longer than mine. They could be. They could be. Is it something you develop? No. Or are you guys just blessed? No. I'm a short guy. I'll show you. So hang on. Let's grab a guitar. I'll show you something. I have quite small hands, but this is the guitar on me, right? Takes up half my body, or over half my body, right? Because I'm pretty short. I'm about 5'7", which is 171 centimeters, something around that, right? So what you want to do, I'll get to the point in a sec. Use this circle. Come down the bottom. It doesn't matter if, say you had this much of a thumb, right? You've only got that. I'll show you something. Right? Let's see if I can... Okay, I've played for 2 seconds, and No comment, Dark Side. But I can do some kind of like thumb there. It's not great, but I'm getting there, and I've only had 2 seconds of practice using my knuckle instead of my thumb. So my point is, if you're up here, let's think about this. Oh, well, I don't have a big thumb. I don't have this, blah, 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 blah. We come down the bottom. What's the silly response? What is the stupidest thing we can say to that? Oh, well, doesn't matter. Can't grow my thumb. So we need to sometimes come to a place of acceptance. Let's say you have the shortest thumb in history. You still need to work on your groove. You still need to work on your fretting hand. You still need to work on plucking in general. You still have to work on legato. You still have to work on pitch. You still have to work on all these things. So regardless of, I'll put it this way, winter deep sleep. Just let's use your logic, right? And I rarely say that people are wrong, like hard wrong. But one of the things we come back to the circle is sometimes we look at things in black and white. And that's really good sometimes. That is really, really good, but it can be to your own detriment. You're being focused on something you cannot change. Whatever you do, you will not be able to grow your thumb bigger. That's a sentence I never thought I'd say. So, radical acceptance. Can't do that. I'll find a way around it. If you've got this much of a thumb, you'll be able to do it. People that are shorter than you have done it before. You know, you still have to work. Like I said, radical acceptance. Let's take my height. Also, if hand is cool bass lesson I've had this week. Thanks, Malcolm. Also, if hand size is a problem, go. That's exactly right, Dark Side. That's exactly right. If your fretting hand is too small, get a smaller bass. If you find you can't slap with your thumb, all right. Let's use this logic. We're in a freak accident and we lose our thumb. Right? So this sound isn't from a thumb, right? That sound, if I go, can we make it somewhere else? That's kind of similar. I don't know how I do it. You can start making slap sounds in other ways. Everyone thinks that the thumb is this magical appendage that makes a slap sound. It's not. It's velocity. Velocity from a hard thing, right? We hit the wrong one. There we go. That upright bass will slap with fingers. Exactly. The whole like. Oh, I don't know how you do it. And I'm doing ghost notes there just by tapping, right? Because people will be like, oh, ghost note. Not true. I could even go like this. That's technically a ghost note. Bass like cello. Yeah, double bass like upright bass, double bass, cello kind of thing. It's all kind of the same, man. So when a deep sleep, it does not matter. If you can go like this, right? You've made a noise. Everything on music is just noise. Noise. Do you know how to slap with your fingers, Jackie? You have to send me a video. I've never tried it or gone into that realm. Maybe I should. Who knows? What's the date today, by the way? Alright, sorry. I'm just checking lessons for the week. How do I learn the slap technique as a beginner bassist? I do have a video of that on my channel, but that's besides the point. I'm just letting it known out there, so afterwards you can revise it. So, the thing we got to look at first, Malcolm, is what is slap, right? And people go, oh, well, you know, it's the funk technique typically and blah, 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 blah. All slap is this sound and variations of it, right? So, how do we get that? Let's choose the 5th fret on the E string. Malcolm, have you got a bass with you, actually? Okay. 5th fret of the E string, right? And don't even try and slap it. Right? You just want to make that note. 5th fret, E string, Bass brother, hello Adam, how you going, man? Right? If you can make that noise, you're off to a good start. Because that's the note you want. So we're there. Get your thumb. I typically do this. Some people do this. Sounding good, thanks Adam. Some people do different technique, what would you call it, angles. I typically come down here, or a little bit like that, but 99.99% of the time. Now, that note, if you've got the A note ringing out, 5th fret of the E string, get your thumb and go like this. Don't think about slapping, just go like this. If you have made that A note ring out, you're like 75% of the way there, right? So go like this. This is where a lot of people just overthink too much, and it comes back to the circle. You want to be as dumb as possible, right? So logically, that's the note we want. Slap is just about velocity to get that sound, right? If I go like this, oh, it sounds like slap. Yeah, the difference between this and this is literally velocity. So, how do we build velocity? Just pluck it and start getting harsher. Oh. Alright, so Malcolm, comment if you're up to where I'm up to, so it's all making sense. Why is it working? Because I'm a bass teacher, dude. I know how this stuff works, and I'm a good teacher. It's what I'm good at. So, here's what we're going to do, right? So, just build velocity. Right? You got an A note ringing out. Now, the next part of slap bass is the pluck. So, 7th fret of the D string, just find that. Do the same thing. So, the two notes we're doing is this. A, 5th fret of the E, then we go 7th fret of the D string. Okay, so then we're going. Don't focus too much on that. But the shape we want to do is this, right? I made a mistake there. Right? So, same thing. People confuse the pop, like the octave. It's exactly an octave. That is exactly what we're doing. So, now, here comes the pop bit, which will blow your mind. People will be like, oh, how do you pop? It's very simple. That note, right? Again, if you're making the note, oh, okay. That doesn't sound like funky slap junk at all. Hook your finger a little bit under here and just pluck it. So if you're plucking like this, just think of it the inversion. Come under a tiny bit and just like make the sound, bring the velocity up. And then suddenly we go. Yeah, it's pretty simple when we break it down. People want to complicate this. The best thing you can do, Malcolm, is remember the circle I talked about. And the next thing is, if you have your bass, remember, if someone has done it on this before, you can do it. The next part is, all it needs is time and practice and an understanding or breaking something down to the simplest things. Hey, Jacob, it has a new called Ranger. I don't know what that is. I can't pronounce it. So, all this is wood and strings and some electronics that someone figured out, right? So from there, we are just understanding that anything that's done on it is quite simple. It's time and practice. Even like when it comes down to it, people say, oh, like how do you do the whole sweep picking, blah, 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 like the whole... all that. It's just time and practice. And if you really want to break it down, like this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like that is 6 notes on repeat, and people think it's impressive. There's nothing really too impressive on musical instruments when you break it down. You know, it's just technical prowess, time spent, everything else. And you could say the same about anything nearly. So you could say it about like Olympic runners. You could say it about anything, and it's all true. So even like someone goes, you know, what's the most impressive thing? Someone has a lot of knowledge. Oh, they've just read a lot. Really? It's still impressive. Okay, so I can't do it with my thumb. It's because of all the chocolate you drink, Dark Side. So, alright. All good, mate. Come see you, mate. So next subject, probably might be a good one, is depends. It depends what people want to hear. I never expect these morning streams to be extremely big. They're always smaller, but that's good when I'm doing these kind of things. So let's talk about metronome and how I approach building speed, because that's always fun. So if we're going to metronome running, how would I approach building speed? And this is something that comes up a lot. Like people say, oh, how do you do it? How do you blah, blah. It's quite simple. If I've got this right, no, it's a bit harder. We'll go. So I would just go like that. But one thing that's really, really, really underlooked is idle practice. So like practice in which you're not using a metronome. Put something on TV, put something on whatever you watch, YouTube, turn the bass amp on, and just sit there go like this. Don't focus on a metronome for a while. And then, when you come in, you can clean it up with a metronome. Like. And then when you... I'm wrong in an E. Muscle memory. Hello, biblical. So, muscle, that's exactly right. Why is there a gap at the bottom of the neck near the pickup? What do you mean? There's the tuners. It's to fit the tuners in. So, when we have a metronome, if I can do that clean, I might put it up, say, 10 BPM, right? I can still do it clean. Let's move up another 10 BPM. There it is. Alright. Can still do it clean. Let's go 20 BPM. I am not struggling at all. Sounds fun. I heard headless basses are made for nerds. Is this true? Depends on the individual, mate. There are a lot of nerds that use them. So I'm going to crank it up to 150 BPM because I'm not struggling. We want to get to the point of struggle. Not struggling, it's fine. But if I wanted to warm up, I would probably use something like that. So let's go up another 30 BPM, 180 BPM. Let's see how we go. Alright, still easy. So we're going to go 220, we're going to boost it 40 BPM. Okay, it maxes out at 218. So we're at max on Google Metronome. I'm not maxed out, right? It's not too bad. So we want to break it down to 114. Now we've got to come back down. I'm trying to find my max limit here, which is proving difficult. I didn't think... Okay. Double time. Alright. So now because we're doing double time, we need to go in smaller increments. I'm going to go up to 120. That was at 114. Remember, we completely maxed out the metronome that was available a second ago. So... Not too hard. All right, we're going to go up 10 BPM. I think I might start to struggle here or I'll completely be gone. All right, I'm starting to feel a bit of tension, which means I'm starting to get to my breaking point. Bass player, flat string. Hello, mate. How you going? So, not that you would ever need more speed with that with legato, right? So this, 3, 4. See? How would I practice that? Because I'm starting to get on to the point where I'm like, I'm starting to find a little bit of resistance with my playing. Now, what we do is back off the metronome, back 10 BPM, play. And it comes back to the action of repetitive motion, right? But you will not develop speed by just going and practicing slow. And the reason this is, to put in, I'm massive on like parables or metaphors when it comes to teaching, because there's a lot of understanding that has to happen when it comes to building. So if you have a sprinter, an Olympic sprinter, and they broke the world record, and someone comes up to them and does an interview and they go, hey, how did you like practice for the Olympics? And they went, I walked every day. You would be like, that doesn't make any sense. You didn't walk every day. So what we need to look at then is the aspect of, to play fast, we need to practice fast. And that means mistakes included. But developing muscle memory is hard too. And I can move that around. Right, so what I would do is stay at 120 BPM and have this kind of speed roughly in mind, right? And I get a tiniest little bit of tension there, and I know that pushing it a bit further will lead to me crashing out. So I would get that in my head. I would put something on YouTube, maybe, it doesn't matter what it is, and sit there like that. Focus on being loose. And people talk about economy all day, and sometimes people will leave comments on my stuff and be like, oh, you're not as economic as possible. And sometimes that has a massive place in the discussion of what we're doing. But sometimes it really doesn't, because everyone's different. Only shooter, spread the shred. Your favorite preamp? I don't have a favorite preamp, man. I don't think too much about that stuff. I do like the dark glass anagram. That's as far as I go when it comes to tone. Also, I think sometimes about pickups, I need very versatile pickups because of the position I'm in. So Bartolini's there. I'm endorsed by Bartolini, thank God. And then goes into a dark glass, and that's all I think of. What genre of music do I play? It depends, man. It ranges from funk to death metal to rock to country. It depends on the day. Jazz. It depends on what I'm doing on the day. Ever hold a threadless six string? Threadless? What? What do you mean a threadless six string? What does this mean? Threadless. Anyway, so back to this. See, I came undone there. But that's great. See, if I try and... You can do this too. With your hammer-ons and balls. Hey, Jonas. If you got this. You can actually find out what you're stronger at. Pull-offs or hammer-ons. And I'm way stronger at hammer-ons. So that's something to work on. Hello, Fizzy Fish. So, we're going to go into subject change. Write any questions you have about playing bass. This is a lesson today. I'm not taking genre requests. I'm sorry. I decided bass a week. Okay, awesome question. What's your tips for finger strength? All right. So, I recommend Wait, which hand? Which hand wants some? Are you finding you're getting blisters when you play? Like, there's a lot to be discussed in that subject. I'm more than happy to talk about it, though. Left, how long have I been playing? About 20 years, roughly. So, left, and by left I assume you mean your hand that's on the fretboard, is that correct? Because sometimes we only think in context of ourselves. Yes, alright, awesome. So, what we look at there is, how would I build finger strength if I was starting again? Look, everyone talks about this. I would go, choose any fret you want, doesn't matter, start on the lower string and just go 1, next fret, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then work it back down. Could you help with slapping? I always end up playing a harmonic on accident or miss a string entirely. Slow it down, Jonas. We've already talked about slap this morning. But I would slow it down, Jonas. What's happening is you're probably getting that sound, right? But it's probably up here. Which means you're just tapping. You want to, if you go like this and strike through, the tapping thing will lead to harmonics. You want to strike through. That's another big tip. How many basses do you have including this one? At the moment, in this room, I only have one, which is this, which is the Headless Ibanez EHB. The rest are up in Brisbane, and I'm going to go back and be with them soon. What's your favourite type of music to play? I don't mind. I just love playing bass. My favourite band is the 1975, though. So my dream scenario is to play bass for the 1975. That'll never happen unless something happens to, and knock on wood, unless something happens to Ross McDonald. If that happens, I'll put my name down, but, you know... Like, I would wholeheartedly love to play for the 975, but that won't happen. Ross is an incredible bass player, but well, this is the thing too. I never know. Well, no, you never know. But the point is that I really don't want something to happen to my favorite bass player. So, you know, it would be absolutely. Tragic for me if something happened to Ross McDonald. I would probably cry, mate. Never met him, never had any association with him, but I would be very upset if my favourite bass player passed away. So, alright, lay the questions on me. We've got maybe 20 minutes or so. It might extend it. Questions coming. Keep them coming. We need... It's the time. Are you self-taught? A little bit. So sometimes I have taught myself. Sometimes I have been in an environment where I've had teachers. And I think there's a massive benefit to both. When you feel you're not developing as a player, you absolutely should get a teacher. And there is nothing wrong with having a teacher at any kind of level, right? And I'm a massive advocate of looking at yourself. Like, there might come a time if I run into a problem where I will absolutely get a teacher, and I'm a teacher myself. Because one of the biggest things when it comes to learning and teaching is we get very blind to our own things. And I've got processes in place to limit that. That I often watch back my own playing. I often critique myself probably heavier than I should. And what that leads to is a perfectionism that is good and healthy. Dude, you sound great. Thank you, Samalit. What got you into bass? I enjoy the aspect of you kind of get to play a solo all night while you're playing. If I'm going like this, right? If I'm going... It ends up being... it ends up being a... what's it called? Like a solo all night. Do you think learning theory or songs is better to learn bass? When you start off, Jonas... Are you giving away something I just entered? Yeah, man, it's just a free bass workshop. I'm giving away a free lesson while I'm live at the moment. So that is the freeness of it, is that you can ask me anything. You don't need to pay me anything for today. Anything you want to know about the music industry, bass, anything, I will answer it. So the free thing is what you're watching. Hello, The Real Bob. The answer to that gets asked a lot. I don't know. I've got no idea what happened back there. No idea. I have asked, but no one seems to know. I think it might have been bumped while someone's moving or something like that. But it does get asked a lot. I've got no idea. So. Alright, next subject. Keep it coming. About 20 years. What are your favourite little fills for big driving moments? Oh, Sid. Hello, Sid. How are you, man? That's a great question. So, I would say the best thing you can do for big driving moments, I'm going to answer your question in a bit of a roundabout way, man. What amp are you playing? It's through hello, David. It's through a dark glass anagram. I don't have an amp. I don't own an amp apart from a little practice amp that Newegg sent me for free. My favourite feels for big driving moments, you are far better off in probably 50% of scenarios, maybe more. If you've got this, right? Rocking in the free world. Hey, BR. And say we go into the chorus. Rocking in the free world. Right? So, what I would do there is not even think about fills. I'd focus on dynamics. Dynamics are so much more important than fills. However, if I had to focus on the fifth, like, that adds way more than if I go do little quick things. Don't focus too much on it. You want to serve the song. Fills are about serving the song rather than yourself. That's probably the best way to put it and have a dynamic aspect to it. What is a good pre-gig routine to get into? Don't drink before a gig, though some people do, but this is what I do. I don't drink. Routine, try not to drink too much water, so you don't need to go to the toilet while you're on stage. That's shockingly massive. And then the next thing would be... You know, if you can, sometimes you don't have time, but even if you just sit there and doodle about and do whatever, you're fine. Hi from Japan. Hello from Australia. How do you get Jason Newsted's tone off and Justice for All? That might be a question for Darkside, actually. Yo, I got a question. That Sunseeker boy, please go ahead and ask it. That's what I'm here for. My bass came from Japan. Japan rules. Yeah, go ahead. Who was it? Sunseeker, that's it. Yeah, go ahead and ask the question. Let's talk about it, my friend. Whatever it is. Why Ibanez? Because I like it. Simple as that. One of the big reasons is, how many basses do I have? 3. I've only got 2 here. Do I like the band Acid Bath? I've never heard them. Maybe I have. Darkside will be able to tell me if I've listened to them before. Why Ibanez? Ibanez typically has... It depends on which side of this fence you sit on. But Ibanez typically has an answer to every bass variant you could want. They've got the 37-inch scale lengths for the heavier stuff. They've got P basses. They've got J basses. there's not really much reason for me to go anything. They got headless basses, which I enjoy. What are your favorite? Do you like them? Favorite scales? I don't really think in that way. I would say my favorite thing to jam along with is kind of like the minor kind of pentatonic would be probably my favorite to play along with. How can I stop dragging the notes when I play music? Like, I don't know. I just keep dragging the notes. Sunseeker. So, likely this comes from a place of overthinking. And I don't know if I've talked to you before. I don't remember your name. But I always say this. If you've got a circle, up here is overthinking. Black bass is cool. Thank you, Kate. So, up here is overthinking. Down here is underthinking. Right? So, how can I stop dragging the notes when I play some music? Like, I don't know. I just keep dragging the notes. All right. So, when you're dragging, it means you're behind. Okay, let's start there. Let's talk about definitions. Hello, user. Let's talk about definitions. You're saying you're dragging, which means you're behind. And what that means is, let's simplify it as much as possible. You need to play in time. How do you play in time? Get a metronome. It means either the thing you're playing is above your technique level and you need to work on that, or alternatively, you have bad timing. Both can be solved with a metronome. Do my fingers need to touch the next string when finger picking? When I started, some sort of right, but I never did. Okay, Pedro, a good way to put it is, if you're making the right sounds, it doesn't really matter. Hi, mate. Have a nice day. Thanks, mate. I have the same bass, but my bass treble knobs are broken. Getting super hard to find replacement. Did you have a different preamp? No. Yeah. It's just change of knobs. I don't actually use the preamp on this bass ever. Yeah, I don't play with it so often. Yeah, get a metronome. I'll put it this way, Sunseeker, the best way to think about it is if every single professional, 99% of professional musicians use a metronome, that means you probably should too. You know, use deductive reasoning there. Is it too late? I've been playing. No, it's not late. I still have timing issues. Like, they're not big and they're not noticeable, but I know about it. It is never too late. Like, that's... I am big on honesty, and I will say this to you, that's ridiculous to think that way. That would be like, oh man, I've only been playing... Dude, I've been playing 20 years, and I still play with a metronome. It happens. I use all my fingers except the middle one. Is it a problem? So I'm assuming you talk about this one? Oh wait, which hand? Do you mean fretting or do you mean plucking? I'm using it now as a passive bass and so awesome, man. That's all that matters. I had the tone knob on my bass removed, so I just have it. That's good. Do you have tattoos? No, I don't have any tattoos. My first tattoo would probably be for my partner, and that would be it. Do you ever use a pick, and if so, why? I sometimes use a pick. It depends. I am quite good with both, so it's not uncommon for me to, that whole thing. You can even do it with funk. Yeah, it's not uncommon for me to use a pick. And why do I use it? It's a different tonality. What would you suggest I focus on for jamming improv? I'm in a minute, I'm playing a band. Okay, so Saturn, what this likely is like a thought process that you're overthinking a little bit. So what would you suggest I focus on jamming/improv? If you want to get better at jamming/improv, then practice jamming/improv. Always come back to a circle. Up here's overthinking, down here's underthinking. You kind of want to underthink when it comes to a lot of things with music. So if someone says to me, how do I practice sweep picking? The silliest, most logical answer is, how do you practice sweep picking? You practice sweep picking. It sounds silly, but it's the honest truth. You know, people will be like, how do I practice slap? Get your thumb, hit the string. You'll start learning. And this is the thing, we can go into details all we want, but with improv, learn scales, and practice just making a song on the fly. So let's say someone says to me, hey, I want an exact scenario, I want to learn to do that. And I'm like, okay, well, E minor, let's make up a song in that in 2 seconds. I start with theory and understanding? Oh, okay. All right. So I would say learn a pentatonic scale, learn a major scale, learn a minor scale. That is typically all you need in 99.99% of all scenarios musically. You should learn you should absolutely in all scenarios learn the modes, and that's it. Do you use bass for songwriting? Absolutely. I have, when I move to Brisbane, which is in a couple of weeks and I'll be out there full time, I will have a drummer for my band for July, and it's literally just going to be me and a drummer. I absolutely use the bass for songwriting. Yeah, I think that it is easier for me to do. How do you not underperform during gigs? When I'm practicing, I sound great, but I sound a few notches worse on gig. That can be anxiety, or it can be... Hello, Menthol. Thank you, mate. You're welcome, son. That can be anxiety. It could be overthinking. The one thing that helps me with gigs, I sometimes don't get nervous. I never get nervous, but I sometimes think a little bit too much. I make mistakes at gigs, and I'm getting paid $400, $500 a night. I guess the question is, Sid, how much are you getting paid for gigs? Is that on your mind while you're playing? Because that can be a massive detriment, right? That can be something where we're just completely like, oh man, like I'm getting paid for this. I'm in my own head. I'm thinking this. What's the best way to memorize what frets correspond to which notes? That's a great question. You can learn, if you just choose a string, say E, because that's the lowest one for most people. Just go E, F sharp. Go down, learn it. Don't be afraid to read from something, and then just go like this. All right, I'm going to choose a random fret. Oh, that was a bad one. That's a G because it's the 3rd fret. And then you just go from there. Also, I'm making some riffs and you can't never do because I don't know how to make something else like match together. Can you play Slayer? No, I don't really like metal music for the most part, man. But that's just preference, right? It's nothing too big to think of. Is there any advice you can give another bassist for shredding? Okay. Yeah, the biggest advice I can give for shredding is a lot of metronome work and then trying to learn context. Because a lot of people that learn to play fast, or they're in the environment of, or if they're in the environment of where they should or shouldn't shred, most people overplay once they learn to do it. You want to avoid that. That's my biggest advice. But my biggest advice on learning to shred is metronome and learn songs that are outside your reach. He's saying he doesn't know how to orchestrate riffs with other instruments. If it's on bass, start on the root note and develop it. So you don't need to start at 100%. What you want to do is, say you've got this, right? If you got this, rocking in the free world again, right? Instinctively, I go straight to root notes. So that'd be following the guitar. Add in a 5th. So that works, right? But that's overplaying in itself. I'd stick to the root notes. I got a bass from some school. Yep. But I was trying to find a good way to learn it without paying. But if you have any tips, go to YouTube and type in first bass lesson. That'll work. Any advice on how to maintain or keep bass in good condition through the years? I'm really busy at work. Yeah, after you play, keep your bass in a case. That's absolutely it. Use a rag and wipe down the strings every single time. I wipe down the hardware at the end of every single day or every single time I stop playing. It depends on the day, but at the end of the day, I always do. If I'm going to be away for 15 minutes and doing something else, I will absolutely just wipe it down. Ian from Smosh, sometimes. So I shouldn't overplay? No, you should never overplay. You should never overplay. You should play in the context of the song. If you're in your living room or in your bedroom and you're just playing, play whatever you want. Do you think a Psy U7 is a good bass for the money? I'm upgrading from a starter kit Yamaha. Well, this is a question, Saturn. The thing that's worth it for the money is only indicated by you. It doesn't have anything to do with me. Do you like the look of a Psy U7? That's the question I have for you. Do you like the look for it? And does it... Who was it? No, it was Saturn. Not... Yeah, wrong person. Saturn. So if you've got that aspect of, hey, I really like this bass, go for it. Worst case scenario is you got a bass you didn't enjoy. The world's not going to end. I've had heaps of instruments I didn't enjoy. I've had heaps of instruments I was surprised by. Lots of people's like dream basses or dream guitars or dream instruments, they will get, why? Exactly what Benthol said and what Darkside said. Always watching like your reels on night. Thank you, man. That means a lot. I'm going more between... Instagram's been weird lately. Everyone's had a drop in engagement, which doesn't bother me too much. Like, I still get paid and whatnot, so whatever. What is your favourite bass model and why? Ibanez Black Eagle, and because it looks cool. What is your favourite... actually, the best answer. Yeah, dude. Let me have a look, though. Just for conversation's sake, let's have a look. A lot of this stuff... Yeah, dude. Like, looking at it, if someone said, hey, do you want one of these? It's $1,000 in Australia by the looks of things. I would absolutely just go, yep, I would get one. I got nothing wrong with that for $1,000. Hey, Jackie T, how can I practice to get faster, like really fast? Metronome. Get a metronome and do idle practice. So if you're going like this, with nothing in the background and you're watching YouTube, that is a form of practice. Don't get it confused. Yeah, I tried 9 minutes bass. I was dreaming of getting an Fender Jazz's. Exactly. Hello, Matt. Didn't know you were in here, Matt. But that's the thing. Hit me with some Silverchair. What would it be? I don't even know. And please Diana. North Lane. I saw North Lane in a place with like 10 people in 2011. If you think Jazz is a try a Stingray, I beat with the Silverchair. I'll start for that. Thanks, mate. Yeah, Anna's song is probably my favourite Silverchair song, usually. It depends on the day, right? Fantastic band. One of my favourite bands, actually. Neon Ballroom is one of my favourite albums ever made. Daniel Johns is a musical genius. What string grade should I use? Typically it's 45 to 130. I don't know what that is on a 4 string, but it is 45 down here. I think. I don't think about it too much. Hey, did you join a band now? Awesome, mate. What kind of genre is it? Tell me about it. Why not? Play anything Primus? Favorite band is Nickelback. I don't even know any. DMV riff. I don't really like Primus. Well, I don't like Primus, but that's all the songs sound like to me. It's just random stuff, but people like it. Tool riff. His stringer in 4 string. Thank you, Darkside. I just learned Tommy the Cat. I love her experimental sound. Yeah, and this is the thing. I do appreciate it, but I don't actively enjoy that. Heavy metal called... Awesome, man. Harmonics on bass. Hello, Raging Spider. Do you mean harmonics as in pinch harmonics, or do you mean like a... pinch harmonics or that? I feel like Jackson. Yeah, and you're severely underpaid, Darkside. 2-tap anything but eruption. I don't even know what I don't know what I do. I'm not really a tapping guy, but all that kind of thing. I don't know, it's kind of a useless technique on bass, like I get paid in Kira updates. It's not the day for Kira update, but I'm sure she's in a good mood. Probably not. She's probably depressed as usual. Anyway, keep it coming. Thoughts on using nylon strings? I've seen green strings. Do they sound good performing live? Well, it's about context. So if you think they sound good, they sound good. That's about it. Neon green strings, it's probably DR strings, I would say, for that one. Yeah, they sound fine. I play fingerstyle in a heavy style. Yep. In a crust core. I don't know what crust core is. And play with heavy attack. I'm thinking about maybe getting a fast string, but worrying would strings be too loose compared to what's the tuning? What about Jean Paul, the 12-string guy who only taps full songs? He can do that if he wants. Got nothing to do with me, man. Have you heard of John Patton? Possibly. It doesn't ring a bell off the top of my head, but that doesn't mean I haven't heard him. Oh, you mean John Petrucci or whatever. No request, but I am teaching today, Caleb. Check out Barbara. Everyone suggests that. I should cover it. I'll write it down. Petrucci. This is a fact some people don't know about me. I actually had, what's his name? What's the keyboard player? Jordan Rhodes. I actually had a brief interaction with him maybe 3 years ago. He reached out to me about some stuff, which is interesting. Jordan Rhodes. Yeah. He reached out and had some questions for me, and I sent him some stuff, which is great. All right, keep the bass questions coming. Talk about what we need to talk about. Petrucci. Yeah, he's a fantastic guitar player. I should make a video. Mark Hoppus, easily. Bernard, how do you adapt a guitar solo to bass? Is there any band song bassist you recommend for bass shredding? Thank you very much. You're an incredible bassist. Thank you for the compliment, my friend. So, flats, round, semi-flats, or take raps. Hang on. Alright, so what would I do for guitar solo on bass? I would choose a solo that you think a bass could complement and would sound good on, or I would choose one that increases your technical ability. That's how I would do it. What would I recommend? I would recommend learn floods. Learn the floods outro. I've done that before, and I strongly recommend that for pinch harmonics because it's something that you probably won't do ever again, and it's fun. I think I am hitting the string. Whoa, where's Caleb talking about? Anyway, if you could build your dream bass, like taking Ibanez Black Eagle, I'd just make the hardware all black. That's literally it. I think I am hitting the strings too hard when I slap. It doesn't make a sound other than a metal clank. Your action could be too low. Are fret wraps really necessary on bass? They're not necessary, however, they are cool in recording situations where you're paying to be in a studio and time is limited, so do it there. Palm muting? Yeah. Using a pick GT, or do you mean without a pick? Because that's... Saturn, yeah, you absolutely can. But you'll need to reset it up because the tension on the neck will be completely different. Can you play Get Up and Jump? I can, but not today. I'd have to learn it. I'll adjust my setup. Yeah, you'll be able to do it. The metal clank, so I couldn't even replicate it on this. It should just be a clear note. Ideal or essential pedals I should get for bass? Tuner. Get a tuner pedal. I strongly recommend, it depends where you're along in your journey. If you have the money in that, I strongly recommend a Dark Glass Anagram because it will solve all your problems. However, if we're talking about strictly just pedals and you don't want to get like a multi answer. Tuner, compressor, exactly what Darkside said. Only happens on my E string. Yeah, you'll have to raise it, I would say. You should do tabs for songs. I probably will in the future and do full things. Spyro recommend bass. Yep. Or a limiter. Yep. Noise gate as well can be really handy. I always run a noise gate, even on my clean tones. There's numerous reasons why I do that, but I think I might do a video on that whole, because that's just scale runs, right? Whatever. I don't know why, I was just reminded of Final Fantasy VII. Ever done Crowdcross? No, I think I did as a joke when I was like 18, 19 at a band rehearsal. Where did that come from? Yeah, I think I did when I was a lot younger at a band practice once, but that's about it. And I pray I never have to do it again, my friend. It's like... Should the 4 parts holding... What? Should the 4 parts holding the strings be in line or going down the strings at the back of the bass? Are you talking about... I haven't got a standard bass here, but are you talking about here, should they be in a line? Get a Patreon to make people their song requests. I used to have a Patreon, but I didn't kind of match me morally. I got a lot of backlash on TikTok. This is like when I first started, and people were like, you should make your information free. It's like, but I'm a bass teacher. Do you mean the bridge? Yeah, so the bridge, yeah, okay. What kind of music do I play the most? Probably country, technically. But as, like, country rock. Yeah, you need to measure it out. Dark Side's probably the best one. But in my spare time, I just play everything. Is it really worth getting a Thunderbird bass by Gibson or Epiphone? That's up to you. It's up to you. What you pay for something it's worth to you. So someone might never do that and think they're terrible. You might think it's the best thing on the planet, and that doesn't matter as long as you're happy. Depending on what your scale length is, you need to measure out the bridge. Yeah, P bass 4 string. You'll have a good one. You too, mate. Anything from Yanni. I don't know what that is. What's that? All right, we're ending the nearing. We're ending the nearing. We're nearing the ending of all this today. So, Saturn. That may be true, right? Baseball bat neck. Some people love that. Not comfortable for fast playing. That's an individual preference, and they are heavy. Some people like me are too small for heavy basses, but at the same time, you can always grow that muscle and make it something. You know, it's quite interesting when we talk about like fast playing, or we talk about like fast necks and things like that. We need to keep in mind that everyone's different. Everyone has a different experience with musical instruments. Some people might find this heavy, and it's an extremely light bass. So it's an interesting thing, because you could be completely correct in your own experience. Someone can lift 500 kilos and think it's light. I mean, let's say 100 kilos and think it's light. I couldn't lift 100 kilos. Fast playing depends on the individual completely. Some people like... I used to have an Ibanez AZ, and they have a thicker neck than the RG. And this is when I worked at a guitar shop. And I absolutely struggled with it. What's your personal opinion on strings? Do you like 4, 5, or 6 string bass players the most? Bass guitars the most? I probably like 4 strings, but I play reggae, so I'll go with 5 strings. It depends on the context. I was going to get a 6-string. So I have not got a 6-string, and I won't be getting a 6-string for a few reasons. But the primary one is I don't need it. A player that I've been getting into recently is Joe Dart, and looking at... I don't think... There's some things about Joe Dart where he's above me from a technical perspective. However, that's not what I look at, because everyone can have a different technical perspective of things. The thing I look at is he's more creative on a 4-string than I am on a 5. So if I get a 6-string, I'm trying to use a crutch for creativity and band scenarios and all the rest of it. And to be honest, I kind of fell into, not really peer pressure, but I fell into the environment of people saying, hey, like, you should get a 6-string because then you can play more metal. And I had to sit there and be like, do I even like metal music? I don't listen to it. And the other thing too is look at it from like a professional standpoint. Most metal musicians don't earn money in bands. Misha Mantle was recently talking about that. And I think the way to look at it is, if you're an original band, you will not make money. If you're a cover band and you mix originals in, you can absolutely make that a career. You can absolutely make that a career without any problems. And I recommend everyone does that. If you're just trying to survive on your originals band, I think that's completely foolish and irresponsible. I think if you're trying to make it as a musician, you should have every single avenue open, including cover bands, including the rest. And maybe people will think that's like, oh, well, you shouldn't have to do that. But you do. But you do. You don't have a choice in that. I've never seen like a... Very few bands playing like that will get far. That's the reality. However, if you're playing like funky stuff and doing your technical ability up and posting it online, and it's more palatable for an audience, yeah. The tribute bands around here get much more gigs than the who aren't. So, Bernard, you're completely correct, but I'll add something. They're getting more gigs and they are getting paid way more. Way more. And when people say to me, oh, I want to make it as a musician, and then you go, okay, what are you doing? Oh, I recorded my sludge death metal project. And you go, oh, okay, well, what have you done? Oh, we recorded and posted online, and that's it. It's just kind of like, what? I only entered. That's all right, Ali. You can think whatever you want, man. Lots of people think a lot of things about me, and that's okay too. But the question is, ma'am, even if I was, you're the one judging someone online from behind a screen, not me. So, wish you nothing but the best, buddy. Good, as you should. It depends on the context, but thought it was a compliment. Well, you got to be quite sensitive with these things, because a lot of people will take it offensively. A lot of people will 100% use it as an insult. So you got to be a little bit touch more sensitive. That's a very decent base, I would say so. You got to be a bit more sensitive with the language, buddy, because some people will be. I'm not offended by it. I don't care. The best thing you can do is not let your leading entry be that when you make a conversation with someone. Some of the best musicians in the world, I can guarantee, on the spectrum somehow. It was such a random start. Yeah, don't lead with that, man. But no, I'm not autistic in any regard. Anyway, that'll do it. We're nearly at the end, so I'll probably give it 5 more minutes. So if anyone has any questions, they can drop it on me. What genre you play? Depends on the day, man. Depends on the day. I'm in a country band, but absolutely will wholeheartedly play anything. I don't care what band I'm in, you know. Doesn't matter the day, but someone recommend Barbara by Four of Spades or something like that. I've got to check that out. Really got to look at it. Any hard riffs? Not really with the country stuff. Not at all. It's all very easy. Originals, yeah, we do a fair bit of originals, and I find that they are very, 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 very not easy, but they are very good. Is a good way to put it. And I enjoy my time with Brett when I play with him doing that stuff. So, all right, that's gonna do it. We're gonna jump on a live probably in like 4 hours from now. I'll do another one. All right, thanks for joining in. Hopefully, all good. But is it a country band or a country western band? Mainly country. Talking about more music and training, any advice on living as a musician, regardless if session... Oh, okay. Okay, hang on, let's break that down. I'll answer Bernard's question and I'll get going. Let's talk about that. Talking about music in general, any advice as living as a musician, do you mean like day-to-day life or do you mean like money? Two very different things. Regardless, live musician, I'm interested in your experience. Bernard, let's have a conversation about that before I go. Don't worry, I haven't got anywhere to be. I just want to spend some time with my dog and edit some videos. So let's talk about that for a second. What aspect? Where can I hear your country band? I'll do one on the next live stream. I don't really advertise it too much here. If you type in Brett Gannon, you'll find him. Brett's an interesting person. He basically has no social media presence in comparison to me and other people, but he's a full-time musician and he needed a band, and I was like, you have an amazing voice, Brett. I will do that for you. So is what it is. Brett's an amazing singer. And you know, we go around and do gigs and all the rest of it. So yeah, Bernard, what's the aspect in general that we're talking about here? Because it's kind of a different kind of question, but I think it's worth talking about, you know. Oh man, I can't type today. There we go. Just reply to a few comments while I'm waiting. Which is fine by me. But yeah, we're closing in. If I don't have a message in the next few minutes from Bernard, I will... Okay, I think I mean mostly about having great shows, venues, or opening up for other artists. Hello, Kings USA. Or King, yeah, that's it. Making money. Okay, so you got to look at it from the perspective of... Oh, you're very welcome, Bernard. No worries at all. I think I mean mostly about making money or having great shows and venues. So, being a good band... So this is just a few rules. Being a good band... Be a good musician, be reliable and punctual with your time, and don't hang around losers. Number 4 is that's probably the biggest one. If you're showing up to band practice and they're drinking or they're hungover or they're doing substances, I won't address too much on that. But if they're doing those things, get out of the band. That you're not going to get where you want to go. That's it. If you're turning up to band practice and they're learning the songs at band practice, get out of the band. Unless you're figuring something out together for a cover or something. So 100%. Venues, don't focus too much on great venues. Focus on the aspect of venues that are paying you is much better. Don't do free gigs if you're a cover band, unless it's a fundraiser for, say, someone with cancer or something. Then do it. Have the courage to speak up when you're unhappy about something, but don't be rude about it. Always be honest. But just don't hang around losers, because a band is a relationship of, say, 3 to 5 people, sometimes 2, but 3 to 5 people. And within that, if someone's turning up and they're like, oh man, I'm so hungover, blah, blah, it's like, you know we had rehearsals, you know we had a gig, we're trying to make a career off this. If you're in, to rephrase it completely, if you were starting a business with someone and you turned up to a business meeting, because essentially that's what a rehearsal is. You're figuring stuff out and making sure you can play the gigs. If you turn up to a business meeting and someone goes, oh man, I'm hungover, and then they start having a drink at the business meeting, you'll be like, dude, why would I ever go into business with you? I'm putting a lot on the line here. Do you want to make a song with me? I'm too busy, man, but I am available for session work to record bass for people. And you can go to my website, which if you click on my YouTube and you find my email, which is info@itsjackiet.com. If you send me an email there, I can definitely do some paid session work for you, but otherwise I'm too busy for the kind of collaborations. Creeping Death. Hello, CJ. I'm going to jump onto doing that stuff down the line. What's it called? Covers. In the next few hours, I'll probably jump on and do some covers and take some requests. Creeping Death, I think, is that... Oh, hang on, is Creeping Death the one that's like the whole, like the... something like that. I can't remember. Hello, Jeffrey. I didn't know you were in here, man. Is that Creeping Death? Something like that? I got no idea. That's alright. There you go. I don't know what I know the whole like... I should do a stream. I knew he's like 6, like 7 or like 8th fret. Yeah, I can't remember it at all. I got no idea which one Creeping Death is. But yeah, I'm gonna I'll do a covers stream next thing, and I might try and do, what's it called? For Whom the Bell Tolls, and do, what do you call it? I might try and do it at like 130% speed. See how we go. If anyone has any like last questions and all the rest of it, drop it in the chat before I go. And we'll conclude the bass workshop before I go. Hey, Menthol, were you here for that Forget Not, or whatever that band's name was? I can't remember. I'm trying to remember. There was I'm pretty sure there was a song I listened to and you were here, and it was really good. Forget Not by Net Obliscaris or something? Or was that someone else? I can't remember who recommended me that. Thank you so much. Have a great day. It's morning here, 10:14 a.m. Which is great. I don't believe that was me. All right. Must be someone with a similar... I remember someone else had like a very Australian name. So, Menthol Newsport is incredibly Australian sounding. Anyway, all right. That's going to do it. I remember that person. Oh, yeah. That... Yep, I remember who you're talking about. The American bass player. I'm from America. Really? Dude, Menthol Newports is something an Australian would have. Or they'd have like a goon bag or something like that. Anyway, alright, that's done. From America. Well, hello from Australia, mate. Anyway, have a lovely day. I'll jump on in probably like 4 hours, 3 hours. Bye. See you guys. Have a great day. Also, thanks for stopping by for the workshop.